Kang's rings from Quantumania reveal the purpose of Kang's rings. We must review the relationship between these and the 10 rings and how they connect to Miss Marvel's Bangle. So let's begin by outlining how Kang's rings and the 10 rings are comparable. Kang's multiversal chair enables him to travel through time and between dimensions. The multiversal engine core, a tiny orange sphere ringed by interlocking rings and seemingly pushed by quantum energy, is now what propels the machine. Gigantic circles are carved on the big skyscraper in Kang's Quantum City. Those massive rings seem like the 10 rings, and the whole building looks like a bigger version of a chair. Like the ring or Win-Win-Woo, they give forth blue energy. Kang's energy armor and weapons are also blue. Without the core, he is helpless. To put it another way, the Kang made a weapon out of the multiversal core and now draws energy from it, like how Wu took energy from the rings. Now when Shang-Chi wears the rings, their energy turns orange. Another ring sphere that glows with orange energy may be inside the core. As Scott enters this sphere, he starts splitting into innumerable duplicates of himself since the engine core causes a probability storm. This is because the core emits this multiversal energy, and the sphere, which Shang-Chi airbends into a sphere shape, exactly resembles the 10 rings. Hence, we deduce that the rings use quantum energy. It makes it fitting that these rings are driven by quantum energy, as the quantum realm is crucial to the multiversal tale. Therefore, you will doubt that the 10 and count rings are identical. Kang's rings from another universe may be a slightly modified version of the 10 rings. Since all Kang variations in the multiverse are multiversal travelers, they may all have unique abilities. Therefore, a separate Kang variation who abandoned the 10 rings on Earth long ago might own them. After he passed away, Carol and Bruce eventually concluded that the rings were very old when Wu discovered them. None of them had ever heard of or seen anything about these rings. This could be because the rings are from the far, far future rather than being artifacts from antiquity. Because the Kang variations date from the 31st century, their technology appears magical to those born in the 21st century. Shang-Chi and Wenwu use them as weapons, but Kang learns to transform them into multiverse-traveling robots. Kang's rings need to spin extremely quickly to open multiversal portals. This is likely because, as they spin, they transform into a warp drive. They bend space and time to make wormholes through the multiverse. When combined with quantum energy, the rings become an all-encompassing tool. While Quantumania has some of the symbols from the Eternals, we are aware that there are numerous hypotheses regarding the Celestials creating the rings. Alternatively, the rings may be the MCU's interpretation of the quantum bands or the nega bands. The cosmic bracelets from the comics are extremely potent, just an extraordinarily intelligent individual with the power to control the whole multiverse using highly developed technology. Kang uses quantum energy to power his multiverse-traveling engine core. The two worlds are closely related because time travel is possible in the quantum realm, and the multiverse was created due to time travel. This implies that the quantum world is a reality from which all other energies in the multiverse likewise emanate. Wong clarified that a beacon was sent after Scene turned on the rings. The rings may communicate with the Council of Kangs and other Kang kinds, and the beacon inside the rings resembles the innards of the multiverse. Also, just like Kang's layers-heavy rings, when Wong divides one of the rings, it breaks apart into several layers of rings. According to legend, the origins of the 10 rings have never been fully understood. Wu obtained the rings from a tomb or from a crater, where they gave him great strength and rendered him eternal. Most importantly, Shab never used the rings before they were charged. At that point, the rings' blue energy changed to orange. While the rings' origins were never explicitly mentioned in the film, Miss Marvel made some allusions. Now that Scene's mother had arrived from Talo, another dimension, she too had turned the rings orange. The bangle discovered in a temple was inscribed with the 10-ring symbol. It's interesting how similar these 10 rings and the Kamala caused bangle are in appearance and operation. Because Kamala's heritage is from another reality, another perplexing item she wears, the bangle, can be awakened by her, producing a purple energy light. Aisha, Kamala's great-grandmother, lived in the newer dimension. But the bangle doesn't originate from the newer dimension like the rings. The bangle is likewise a multiversal gadget. Furthermore, Kamala's bangle is part of the set, and another bangle is in the universe. This could imply that she won't be able to utilize the second bangle's full potential until she possesses it. Because of the carving of the 10-ring symbol on the temple where the bangle was found, there is a connection between these two items. The bangle was fastened around a blue arm. This hand most likely belonged to the Kang variant that brought the bangle and the 10 rings to Earth after Quantumania. Who knows if his hand belonged to the Kang from Ant-Man 3 or one of his previous incarnations, although most of the Kangs in the comics had a background. They all started with Nathaniel Richards, who traveled to ancient Egypt and acted as Pharaoh Ramatut. The end credits scene features this Pharaoh Kang, and Moon Knight includes an Easter egg of Ramatut to hint that he's a real-life historical character from Earth 616. To prepare the multiverse's forthcoming cycle for the impending war, He Who Is Left sends the rings and the bangle into the past. In comic books, something occurs. Every few millennia, the multiverse is destroyed and regenerated. He Who Remains in the comics isn't a Kang variation. He is a different creature, yet they are very similar. This Kang version involves playing three-dimensional chess via time and space because they connect to the multiversal cycles and construct the timekeepers in the TVA. He is still sent to the current cycle with the rings and the bangle, which are remnants of the past multiversal struggle. These are all distinct dimensions. These included the quantum realm, the black dimension, the mirror dimension, and a few more, but the two most crucial ones for our theory are Tal Lo and the Noor dimension. Before He Who Remains constructed the sacred timeline, the prior multiverse must have had the 10 rings, the bangle, and Kang's rings. Shang-Chi and Ms. Marvel pull energy from the prior multiverse when they use the rings. He Who Remains and the TVA both use technology that looks a lot like quantum energy. This means that He Who Is Left used the multiversal energy of the quantum universe to detach Earth 616 and change it into the sacred timeline. Ms. Marvel's bangle has a unique power to travel across time. This talent is more like a time loop than true time travel. The soldiers take Kamala somewhere on the night of the division in 1947, but Kamala cannot alter the past. Instead, it appears that she is replicating a certain moment. She had a job to finish, and when she did, she was transported back in time. This is the most arbitrary and unrelated power of the bangle. On the other hand, the sacred timeline is a constrained universe that functions like a time loop and contains the entire history of the cosmos. He controls the passage of time up until the timeline passes the threshold. Albeit on a far smaller scale than Kamala's circumstance, the time loop broke once the final character crossed the boundary. The bangle did not create the sacred timeline on its own. This connection might also be made between the bangle and the 10 rings because they are both incredibly potent objects. Yet, when they are united, they draw multiversal energy that has the power to alter reality. The rings are necessary for Kang's multiversal chair because once they begin spinning, they enable Kang to travel around the multiverse. The Quantumania credit scene states that the Council of Kangs, who are enraged because the heroes were disturbed by the multiverse and had ambitions to conquer the universe, are en route to Earth. The 10 rings signal to Shang-Chi's terminus may be a means of communication with the other Kangs. Because of the Council, the multiverse is perishing. The multiverse as a whole could collapse, according to Kang, who alleges that his versions are colliding realities, triggering infinite intrusions and toying with time like children. As he talked to Jan about this, Kang showed it to her. This Kang must return since it appears that the multiverse can only be rescued by establishing a new sacred timeline. Thus, it would be a shame if they killed him off. But his alleged demise might easily result in his reappearance in many locations across the multiverse. If he returns, Kang will target the bangle and the 10 rings to accomplish his goals. Yet the fact that He Who Remains transported those relics to the new multiversal cycle suggests that he must work on a secret plan. This may explain why only Shang and Kamala have access to the power of these artifacts. The two are related to many realms and worlds in which the survivor is preserved. One explanation could be that he set the artifacts to only activate for persons from those other realities since he didn't want his variations to have access to their full power of them. If they do so, they may be able to alter reality to prevent this cycle from ending or restart the multiverse after it has already ended. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Please comment with your feedback and thoughts on the theories about the connection between the rings.